Well, good afternoon. It's Tuesday, so this is our Tuesday drive, and it's September 1st, so we are actually kicking off a month of Suicide Prevention Month. The month of September has been designated Suicide Prevention Month. So thinking about that, thinking about some of the things that we have planned this month, I thought maybe I'd just take a second to kind of let you know what Project Aware is about, what Project Aware is doing, how it ties into suicide prevention, and kind of what we're hoping to do. So after the Sandy Hook shooting, President Obama and Congress passed Now Is the Time. As part of that anti-violence campaign and is Project Aware. And Project Aware is designed to get assistance in the schools for students and families suffering with mental illnesses. You know, we've seen several news stories throughout the nation here recently about people that were suffering with some type of mental illness, whether it's been Sandy Hook, it's been Virginia Tech shooting, some of the assaults in our local movie theaters, numerous police shootings. And so because of that, we are trying to get early identification of students who may be at risk for some sort of mental illness. When we take a look at research, we see heightened cases of mental illness in three specific areas. One is the suicide rate. Two is student dropouts. And three is students incarcerated or in the DJJ. And so we're trying to help out in those three areas. So with suicide rates, suicide is number 2 and number 3 on the greatest cause of youth death. It's number 2 in that age group from 17 to 24. It's number 3 in that age group from 10 to 14, from 14 to 17. And 2 and 3, it's suicide and homicide. And as we've noted throughout some of the news stories, homicide and the mental illness are going hand in hand too, and it's just a tragic thing. And so Project Aware is trying to address some of those. And let me just tell you a little bit about how we're trying to address some of those issues. One is youth mental health first aid training. That is a course that we are offering where people in our community can come and get trained on what are some of the red flags, what are some of the identifiers for students who may be at risk for mental illness. And so it's a training for anybody that works with youth, anybody that works with young people, so that they can identify some of those warning signs. And so it's a great program. It's a one-day training, takes about 8 hours. And right now the grant's totally paying for it, so it's totally free. So if you're in the Griffin-Spalding area and you want to get that training, feel free to contact us at the Griffin-Spalding County School System, and we'll get you hooked up. If you are in Muskogee or Newton County, those two counties in Georgia also have this grant. And so if you're in Muskogee County, you can contact Tammy Clark, and if you're in Newton County, you can contact Chiquita Perry, and they'll get you set up with the trainings. But we want to train as many people as we can while we're doing this work. The other thing is we want to get parents and families that have some concerns hooked up with some outside resources, whether it's counseling agencies, some type of medical provider, hospitals, whatever the case may be. We want to get those parents and families connected, and so we're working that aspect too. So we have a referral process. We have 2 mental health clinicians now in Griffin-Spalding that we can do some evaluations to determine what are some next steps. And then just public awareness. There's a huge stigma around mental health and mental issues in our country, and that's a shame. As we've seen, especially recently, more and more we are hearing some of the negative things that are going on, and that's not always the case. And I want anybody that's out there suffering right now with any type of mental health issue to know that that is not the path that you're down. There are plenty of success stories, more often than not, of people who are perfectly successful, live very productive, meaningful lives. We can take a look in just the public eye, and there are just countless stories of people that we know of. We never would have known that they're suffered with some type of mental issue or mental disorder until they came out. So don't think that the tragic news stories is the path that's everyone on, but a big piece of that is early identification and getting those resources to them. And so that's what we're trying to do with Project Aware. So that's a little bit of what we're doing and how it ties into Suicide Prevention Month. We are going to be giving some public service announcements out to all the schools in Griffin-Spalding over the month. And then at the end of the month, we got a little special something for the students to give them some additional resources. So we've got some activities planned in September through Project Aware that we're excited about. And again, if you're in one of those districts and you work with young people, I urge you to take advantage of the youth mental health first aid training that's going on. Again, contact Debbie Crisp if you're in Griffin, Chiquita Perry if you're out in Newnan, and Tammy Clark if you're down in Muskogee. And I hope you have a great week. And make sure you're following us on all of our social media. We're on Tumblr, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So follow us there, GSCS Aware. And be especially looking out the month of September for some positive messages, videos for Suicide Prevention Month. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Take care.